Hey guys! So as I was going through my anime watch list, I decided to choose something to amuse myself, and I have to say the one I picked did the job. It's called Welcome to Demon School Iruma Kun. And without giving too much away, it's about a boy who gets adopted by a demon and sent to a demon school in the underworld. Sounds simple and typically oddball, but it's nuts. It's crazy. It really, really is. But most importantly, I got to the episode where this little guy shows up, and I knew I had to make him. Oh my god. He has a name, but for the sake of avoiding spoilers, I'm just going to call him Mr. Familiar from now on. So with all that context out of the way, let's get into it. This project is going to be mostly on the monochromatic side, since Mr. Familiar's colours are mainly shades of purple. I have opted to go with a mix of Lilac from the King Cole Yummy range and a darker purple in the Pricewise DK yarn. I chose this combination because I like the thought of the two textures together, and in my mind I think it will look great. Well, assuming I can pull off what I have pictures in my mind. I will of course add a list of everything that I use in the description box below. For this project, I began by making two tiny little legs. I was actually aiming for a sharp, horn-like quality to all the limbs. So I just crocheted a tapered cone, gradually increasing the number of stitches as I went. Once I got to the length I wanted, I made a second one. I then put them aside for now and moved on to the body. I started crocheting the body using the lilac yarn, and Mr. Familiar is mostly just a fluffy ball, so we can speed through most of this part. All I did was increase my rounds until I reached the point where I needed to attach the arms. For the arms, I made two short tubes to attach to the main body. I also made his tiny little hands in the same way that I made the legs, just smaller. I then sewed these onto the ends of the arm. Once both of them were ready, I then attached them onto the actual body and then continued to finish the head. This is also the point where I attached the legs. You can of course leave all the limbs until the end, but I like to sew as I go, so I don't get bogged down with my least favourite part at the end. Okay, so it's back to the face. I went ahead and crocheted a couple of semicircles using the DK weight yarn, and I then had to sew them in place. There's no other way. I didn't want to risk using glue in case they fell apart. The horns and beak were prepared pretty much the same way as the hands and legs. The only difference is that the horns are roughly the same size as the legs, and the beak is smaller than the hands. I attached these onto the main body with more painstaking stitches. Have I mentioned how much I enjoy needlework recently? It's been a while, right? He looks quite cute and a bit ticked off, but what will really pull this together will be the eyebrows, which I will do at the very end. Okay, so it's time for the wings, and admittedly this wasn't really my favourite part of the process because I was torn between using wire or the pipe cleaners. I mean, you can use both, but wire would be stronger and more posable and hold properly, and the pipe cleaners would be lighter overall anyway, so here I had to make a choice. In the end I decided on the pipe cleaners, of which I had 3, twisted them together and feed them through the body. I then patterned the wing outlines using some scrap paper and cut them out of felt. I first cut out 2 shapes, then flipped the paper over and cut out another 2 mirrored pieces for the opposite pair. Finally, I attached them with some glue. No more needles here. Of course you can sew them if you so wish, but for me, no, I decided to go with glue. Yeah, oh, I thought I had dodged the sewing bullet, but no. Turns out that using the glue still left some sort of pipe cleaner showing, and since I used white ones, it just made it look unsightly. So I decided to finish off the edges with a blanket stitch just to neaten up the wings. And I also tucked in the pointy ends of his wings into his back to neaten things up. For his hair, that's hair singular, I used another piece of pipe cleaner and crocheted around it. I did 1 full row of single crochet followed with some half double crochets. When I was happy with it, I then bent the wire into the shape of his hair and attached it onto the head. To secure the hair, I just inserted the other side of the pipe cleaner onto the top of the head where it needed to be. This took quite a bit of work, but it's just literally push the pipe cleaner in and then kind of bend it back in on itself. So technically leaving just a small opening before you finish up the head would be ideal for this. So don't be me. Learn from my mistakes. But nothing that some long tweezers couldn't fix. Using the purple DK yarn and a reference image on my phone, I went ahead and embroidered his eyebrows. He looks so angry. So anyway, while you watch me finish up this little guy, but before we get to the reveal, I'd just like to say thank you for watching, and of course, if you'd like to see more, then please like, share, comment, and even consider subscribing. If you are feeling generous, then also please consider buying me a cup of coffee on Ko-fi. The link to my Ko-fi page will be included in the description box below, and any and all donations will be greatly appreciated. And don't forget to hit that bell button to be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that, here he is, this cute little angry ball of purple fluff. Enjoy the beauty shots, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!